Was Aristotle a sexist jerk?
A woman is a deformity that occurred in the ordinary course of nature. I'm sorry, that's Aristotle. I apologize.
Seems like the answer might be yes. At the very least, he thought about men and women differently than we do today. But if we're going to mock his ideas, let us also try to understand them. Here's that quote again from the source and in Greek. But hold on. How can something be ordinary and natural and deformed all at the same time? That doesn't add up. To untangle the situation, we will start with the unmutilated, with normal development, the most natural act, which is the production of another like itself, or reproduction, which is the goal towards which all living things strive, that for the sake of which we do whatsoever our natures render possible. It's the end we try to achieve, and through it we even partake in the eternal and divine. For example, plants and fruit, seed-bearing fruit that ripens. The process of ripening is perfect when the seed in the fruit is able to reproduce the fruit in which it was found. Is that a stretch? Am I leaning too hard on a single out-of-context quote? Well, maybe, but if I am, I'm just following his lead. St. Thomas Aquinas quoted this passage at least half a dozen times. The point is that when an apple turns into itself, something went right, but sometimes a man's child is not a man. So what happened? And we've seen the answer already. The female is a mutilated or deformed or misbegotten male. And wait a minute, it only gets worse. What's lacking is the principle of soul. Ouch. Now, I am an Aristotle fan, but I'm not saying he's right. I'm just trying to understand what he's saying. So we turn to Book 2 of On Animal Generation, a discussion of the four causes. Oh yeah, we remember those. The matter is shaped by the tool into the form of a boat for the sake of trade. That's the final cause. But how do these causes relate to men and women? The female then provides the matter, the male the form, the principle of motion, the art of what is made. And by the way, soul for Aristotle is the form of the body. Here's the analogy. Wood does not move itself into becoming a ship. The carpenter's art must act upon it. In the same way, the earth must have seeds in order to produce plants, and women do not become pregnant without men. Our word matter, by the way, comes from the Latin mater, or mother. Neat. In summary, Aristotle thought that formal causes were better than material causes, and men were better than women. He said one should rule over the other, then built an elaborate system to show the entire world what a jerk he was. Well, maybe, but he didn't create the entire system just to justify the oppression of women. Well, wait a minute, did he? Or at least that wasn't his stated intention. So what did he claim to be doing? Refuting the natural philosophers and their suggestion that everything can be understood through material principles, or through conflicting forces, condensation and rarefaction, or love and strife, or mind and matter. Aristotle disagreed. He didn't hate matter, but he didn't find material explanations to be sufficient. He disagreed that being could come about from non-being. The boat is not already in the wood waiting to get out. Another joint cause is needed, matter as the mother with the form of what comes to be and persists. Sorry to the atomists, but form is real and necessary. But then Aristotle turns around and finds other people saying that the universe is made of mathematical relations or of the boundless, and he reminds them that matter is real and necessary too. As a proof, consider how we animals learn. Memories produced from sensations, then from memories, experiences are produced in men, and science and art come to be through experience. If man is the rational animal, it is partly thanks to matter. And there's a problem with all these contraries. They destroy one another. Aristotle's matter and form, on the other hand, go together. They desire each other the way a female desires the male. Okay. But wait a second, didn't Aristotle say that the material was defective? Back to Aquinas, who had a different sort of question. If the Garden of Eden was perfect, what was Eve doing there? He asks, citing Aristotle, and here is his answer. As regards human nature in general, woman is not misbegotten, but is included in nature's intention as directed to the work of generation. And this, says Aquinas, is God's plan, but we continue the production of woman comes from defect in the active force, or from some material indisposition, or even from some external influence, such as that of the south wind, which is moist, citing Aristotle. So the wind can turn somebody female? All right, that's a new one for me, but we've made progress trying to figure out how all these things can go together, ordinary and natural in terms of being totally human, lacking only in that the apple has not generated another apple quite yet, which kind of implies that the only purpose for women is to give birth to men. So I guess maybe he really was a jerk. But he didn't come up with any of these ideas himself. Aristotle, as we've already seen, constantly refers back to previous thinkers, trying to harmonize, to find balance, to keep what is good. But these ideas predated even the pre-Socratics. The myth of Danae, the poems and plays of Aeschylus used these same metaphors and transgressed them. Aeschylus, by the way, showcased the full humanity and the awesome power of women, even as he totally took for granted that society is patriarchal. But back to the citation. Either the ram or the he-goat is a twin begetter, or the ewe or the she-goat is a twin begetter. Wait, I thought the sex of the child depended only on the female. If she provides good matter, it would be a male, otherwise a female. But turns out Aristotle's model is not that simple. The difference depends on the waters they drink and also the sires, the males. Aristotle then goes on to cite odd-sounding stuff, including diet and timing, wind direction, and salt. My point here is these are all physical, and if we go back through earlier quotes, we see more and more physical causes, from moisture to natural heat to watery or earthy states. Aristotle knew that an apple seed would only grow into another apple if it grew at all, but he also obviously knew that animals and people come out with traits of both mom and dad. In other words, there are elements of form and matter in both the father and the mother's contribution to the new child. No one disputes that, but Aristotle's project here is to use these metaphors to show how information and matter can go together, how it can be coded into matter. And how is that possible? Well, it's been over 2,300 years and we are still working out the details, but we have made progress. And if you believe that both matter and form can be real and important and can somehow touch, that neither of these things are just an illusion, if you believe in that, then you might have this guy to thank, even if he was a little bit of a jerk.